Hey guys, welcome back to Discover SPRINGFORD. I'm standing in front of Integrity Tattoo, located on Lewis Road in Royersford. Today, I'll be sitting down with owners Kiel and Ashley Ferrari.
I'm Geoff, a professional actor, part-time realtor, and transplant to the Springford area. And I'm on a mission to find the best that Springford has to offer. I'll be interviewing local business owners, civil servants, and other prominent members of the community to find out what makes Springford a great place to live, work, eat, and explore. I invite you to join me on my journey as I discover Springford.
Guys, thank you so much for allowing me to come in today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So I'll throw it over to you and let you guys tell us a little bit about your personal journey from where you grew up and then how you ended up owning this studio in Royersford. So you guys can decide who goes first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I grew up right in town here.
Okay.
There's a development right down the street, Abbey Downs. That's where earliest house that I remember. I went to Brook Elementary down here, went to Springford, just down the road on this way. So I've been in this town my entire life. Started tattooing actually out in the Lehigh Valley, and then had the opportunity to start working at this shop, and then this is where I've been.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about at what point did you decide to pursue tattooing? How old were you?
I was 16.
Oh, okay.
I definitively remember being in school, and I was actually telling a friend of mine at the time, I was like, hey man, you're a really good artist. You should be a tattoo artist. That would be so cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he was like, I don't think I really want to do that. I want to do something with political science. And honest God, I was like, I guess I'll do the tattoo. So I was just like, boom, that's the idea.
That's crazy.
Now I'm gonna follow through with that. So I started taking all of the art courses I could in school. I was I guess it was 11th grade, so I was kind of behind the ball.
Right.
But I always drew and stuff when I was younger. My mom's super artistic, so it was always kind of there under the surface, but I never really thought it would be something I could do as a career.
Right.
So yeah, I started taking all the art courses I could. I actually was doing a drawing class at Montco while I was in my senior year at Springford. So
oh, okay.
It was I had to get permission and everything.
Yeah.
It was weird, but
yeah, I feel like that's
that.
different now. I feel like you're able. They encourage high school students to take classes in college.
But yeah, they're like, oh, that seems like a lot. And
yeah.
I got this. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so all the art classes I could. I went to school down in Philly. It's called Hushin,
okay.
Which was pretty cool. It was all absolutely art based. None of it, you didn't have math or history or science or anything. It was like going to a trade school.
Okay.
Every day you showed up, and it was Monday you had graphic design, and Tuesday you had illustration class and printmaking and stuff like that. But it was every day of the week was always the same for the semester, and then after halfway through the year, then everything would change over, and you'd have life drawing or painting or we did a lot of stuff with computers too. We did Illustrator, Photoshop, and all of that, and all of that kind of combined. And then I did 2 years there, and then actually dropped out and started apprenticing.
Oh, okay.
I got the opportunity to, I should say, presented itself to start apprenticing the tattoo, and it was kind of 2 more years of school and another X amount of thousands of dollars, right. Or I can just kind of get into what I wanted to do from the get-go anyway.
And I feel like the fact that you knew from day one that tattooing was the destination versus you wanted an art degree or you wanted this, and then tattooing being the byproduct of that, I think probably helped with that decision a little bit. Because it's here it is. This is kind of what I've been working towards. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely was even the principal or the dean or whatever it was at whatever they call him at the school, pulled me into his office and was this probably isn't the best idea.
Right.
You should really finish out and blah blah blah. And I was like, listen, man, without a safety net, I operate pretty well. It's kind of if there's no fallback, then I won't not succeed at it, I guess.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially in this industry,
it's a psychological thing, I think, a lot of times.
In this industry, there's no guarantee that if he would have finished for another 2 years and had a degree, in the tattooing world, it's not okay, now I'm going to go put my resume out to tattoo shops, like that. So it's if you're lucky enough and talented enough to have the opportunity to do an apprenticeship, you kind of have to go at it right then, you know. And
yeah, because the tattooing is different than drawing on a piece of paper,
right,
you know.
Right.
So you need the hands-on actual working on skin and working with the tools and all that stuff, which you can't get sitting in a classroom.
Yeah, which don't get me wrong, college degrees are wonderful, but this isn't necessarily
depending on which one it is.
exactly.
Sorry, letting some of my views seep into the show a little bit. It's true though. I know so many people that are like, I have a degree that's worth nothing. But yeah, like that's your fault. You picked that major.
Yeah. There's a couple of us here.
Yeah.
But for this is a fringe industry.
Right.
Things don't line up like the kind of the rest of the world. So it's to have a degree in here, it's like, oh, that's cool. You went and spent that time and money. But when it comes to the actual tattooing, it's everything kind of goes.
Yeah, and nothing can replace the actual hands-on experience. I would imagine in an industry like this, especially. It's great. Like you went to 4 years of this, But what is that? How does that dictate or translate into how well you put a tattoo on somebody's body? It probably doesn't, I would imagine.
Right.
So
there's a whole
outside of creating the art that then goes into
your apprenticeship pretty much is your college education, within the industry. So it's
that's pretty cool. And now, are there a lot of people who have gotten into tattooing that have had no previous art education outside of what they did in high school? Or?
Anymore, it's not as prevalent. Like in the tattooing world, everyone wants custom tattoos. Everybody wants like the days of, the walk-in flash shops are kind of falling by the wayside. Which would be, for those that don't know, flash shop. Like when you hear somebody that goes like, oh yeah, I walked in and I just like picked that thing off the wall. And blah blah blah. That's tattoo flash is the stuff that's on the wall. Okay. That's like the pre-drawn designs that everyone you'll hear is like, oh yeah, I'll take B25 and put it on my
and that's kind of how I always, as a novice, that's how I always kind of picture tattooing. And then I've seen more and more the actually like the time and effort and the consultation that you have with the tattoo artist and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh wow, I thought you just flipped a book and it's like, I want Scooby-Doo on my butt cheek or whatever. And now everything is like a one-of-a-kind art piece of art, which is incredible, and the value that is being provided from that perspective. Like, I'm sure there were a lot of people that paid a ton of money for something that is a cookie cutter stamp that they along with 4,000 other people have.
Right. And I mean, to an extent, like with Pinterest and all that now, I still get that. Like,
I'm sure.
I can't count how many infinity symbols I've done.
But,
but if that's what you want, that's what you want. So,
and also, that gives people at least. Because there are a lot of people that are like, I am not creative. I know I want a tattoo. I know kind of what I want what I want to feel when I look at it, but I don't know where to start. And then obviously things like Pinterest exist to help them compile a wall and do a board. So I don't do Pinterest, but
it's kind of lackluster when people are like, I don't know what to do or what I want to get, and it's like, just Google it.
Right.
There's going to be 1,000 ideas that get thrown at you.
Yeah, and at least gives you
pick and choose what kind of like you like, the general look of things, but
and that's what we tell clients when they come in, and I'll tell them like, even bring in references of things that you don't like in a similar type of tattoo, and be like, I don't want that, but this I like, and things, because it's as us as clients, what we have in our head, they need, as the artists, need to be able to pull that out and put it on paper. So if people bring reference pictures of what they do and they don't like and things, then they actually can get what's in your head and kind of pull it down.
Right. That's huge too. I think that sorry, let me start that again. I can edit that. That was just terrible. That's huge because I think that the people, as much as they know what they want, there is a very clear idea of like, I've seen this and I think this is, garish and offensive or whatever, or it's just not what I'm looking for. And to have somebody know that, then you know how far you can take it up to a certain level before it starts to become cartoonish or whatever in the person's mind. If it's not what they want, they don't want a cartoon, they want more naturalistic or whatever it may be. So Ashley, how about you? Where did you originally start out? Family-wise,
I grew up in Spring City.
Oh, okay.
At the top of Broad Street.
So still local.
Still local, but I was the only house on the side of the road that was O&J school district. So,
totally fine. It's Spring City. We love Spring City.
Yeah. So I went to O&J, but both of my parents went to Springford, and because we live so close to town, everything we did was in town. So didn't go to the school in here, but everything else we did. Right. My mom did things like the JCs back in the day and stuff like that, so we were pretty involved and went to all the events over here. And then after high school, I went to Montco for a couple years and was like, I want to go into the working world and make money. I don't need school. And then I got into the working world and I was like, oh my gosh, I need a degree. So I went back to Montco and I got my associates in primarily early childhood education.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, we do not pay
our teachers enough.
Like barely a living wage. So,
my wife she's the director of a preschool, so very much in line, and was a teacher. Now she is the director, but she taught for 10 years. Both 6th grade and preschool. So
and it was like my favorite job I've ever had, but it was one of those, I'm like, I can't pay my bills. So
right.
So after many other jobs and things like that, I work at the shop now.
Okay.
So I do I help all the clients when they come in, do all the phone calls, things like that, and then I plan all of our events.
Oh yeah, that was something I did want to bring up, the carnival event that you guys have, which you've had now 2 annual ones, right? Mm-hmm. And from as an outsider and someone who participated this past year, it seemed like the weather held out. We had a great day.
Mother Nature was totally on our side.
It was supposed to pour rain.
Leading up to that, I was like, we like recycle avidly. We go to concerts and we help pick up trash.
We treat the earth well.
Give me 4 hours of sunshine tomorrow.
I had many conversations with Mother Nature that year, and it's like, girl, come on. I got you all year long. Just give us this one 4-hour block.
I believe I was packing up and I felt the first raindrop. Like, it literally started raining as soon as the event was over.
It was just, everything was like just kind of settling down anyway, and someone's like, there's a thunderstorm and it's like 13 miles out, and we're like, all right, cool. Everything
rain all you want now, it's over.
It was like the last thing got broken down and it just like unleashed on it.
Yeah,
and we were like,
it's crazy.
Awesome.
And it was a hot day, so it felt good at that point.
Well, it felt good at that point. What didn't smell that great was now like the 40 or 50 people that were still left are now like in this room and the waiting room.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Still a little wet, everybody a little smelly. Well, you were smart. You took off.
I booked out of there.
Yeah, and it's us and like all of the gift guests. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it was a great turnout, and that's turned into something that we really love to do. The first year, we did it because Kyle had just redone the shop. We expanded into the Domino's Pizza that was over next to us originally.
See, I did the walkthrough, and we'll show some of the video. I had no idea it went back as far as it does. So it didn't originally then.
So once you cut back and it's that ramp, that is where Domino's used to be.
And then they moved to farther down?
Yeah,
it was the same technical location that they relocated?
Mm-hmm.
They relocated. I think because, you can see now they want to have like sit-down dining and all that.
Yeah, we frequent that Domino's actually. On many nights when we don't have any ideas for dinner, we're like, Domino's is cheap, let's go get Domino's. So.
Yeah, these guys were overgrowing, or getting to the point where it pretty cramped. And
we had one guy that, like, at that point when Mo was
Mo was on like a little
he was like, he would just work at
portable. Oh, really?
Basically, whoever's station was open that day, like whoever had off that day, that's where he would set up.
Okay.
It's like that new teacher that doesn't get a class.
You can imagine, like, that's got to be very annoying because you have this little cart of like 51-ounce ink bottles and all your machines, and it's like, all right, packing up at the end of the day, and now I got to go to this room, and I got to go over here, So when we expanded, I was like, everybody was able to finally have their own space, dedicated station, all of that. So
that's really
nice.
That was way. And everybody seems to have personalized it. Like, they have their own. It's like their own locker, kind of.
So many people ask, like, did you like decorate this whole place? I'm like, no. Like, I decorated, the common areas and my tattooing room, but everything else is like everybody did their own thing.
Right.
And it's just cool how it all like blends nicely. Like, you would think that it was all one thought process, but it's really everybody just did their own, whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah, I would think it would for the artist to have the environment that is comfortable for them is part of the thing. I mean, if you're in a sterile environment that you don't feel particularly at home in, then it probably makes it harder to do the best work that you can do. So it's cool that you allow them the free reign. I would imagine some people probably are like, no, we're going for this aesthetic theme or whatever, but to give them the permission to do that is
and it's nice
cool.
for the clients too, because they can tell that their tattoo artist is comfortable and in their own zone.
Right.
And they feel comfortable. It's not that sterile, kind of. Now, granted, when you come in, which is my favorite thing, it smells very sterile and clean.
Yeah.
But the look of the place, is
to.
homey and things like that. So that makes the client then a little more comfortable as well.
Right.
But yeah, so when we expanded over there and everything was finished, we wanted to do kind of an open house and let the community see. We expanded and things like that. And Erin Donnelly, who is an artist here, she was just finishing her apprenticeship. And part of this industry is when you're an apprentice, you get teased, you get pranked, you get things like that.
Gentle hazing.
Yeah.
Yes, gentle hazing. And especially with Erin, because all of them looked at her as like a little sister, and they were like, almost like, a parent's gonna pop out of somewhere if we haze her too much.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to put her in a dunk tank, so we were like, well, let's have a carnival.
Oh my gosh.
So the first annual one really...
It was just to get her in a dunk tank.
It really came out good. Well, we have to do an open house at one point, so we could just do it and dunk her all day. And,
oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's amazing.
So Kyle got one of like the old-timey swimsuits off of Amazon or somewhere, and had her in the dunk tank
Did she have
all day.
did you put her in like the bath cap?
The
or
bonnet?
Yeah.
It was striped like all the way up. Like it was, as far as bathing suits go, it was the least revealing thing you could imagine. Like she had some maybe her ankles were showing a little bit. That's about it.
Scandalous.
Exactly. So we got the dunk tank set up out front and just a bunch of other stuff. I don't think she knew until the day of that she was getting dunked all day.
Her husband knew because you called him and said bring a change of clothes and things like that. But yeah, she had no idea that she was going to the dunk tank.
Gosh.
But the day itself turned out to be so much fun, and we had gotten other carnival games, and I had contacted a bunch of local businesses in the borough to donate baskets and told them what we were doing. And it ended up just being a really fun and free day for the community, and especially families, because you could play the games for free.
Yeah,
you could play
amazing.
the games, you got tickets, you could win things, stuff like that. So we decided to make it an annual thing, but because we didn't need to do the open house or apprentice anybody, and have it be their graduation day, that we were going to use it to help something in the borough. Mm-hmm. So this year we talked to Mayor Jenna and we said, what's going on in the borough? Who needs money? What are we, trying to accomplish? And so for the second annual, we raised money for the disabled American veterans. They're trying to do a memorial.
For Vietnam, right? The Vietnam War memorial.
Actually,
or is it just in general?
I think it's just
Veterans Memorial.
Veterans Memorial Wall, and I think it's based on the architecture. It's going to have sections that are
for each Korean War.
For each,
War.
each of the wars, and then people are also going to have the opportunity to buy the bricks. So if you had a veteran in your family or have one, you can buy that brick and put their name on it and things like that. So
really first responders and anything, and anybody that they want that puts themselves in harm's way, basically. They'll be able to get a brick or something donated.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
And you did that with Pinky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him through Donna of the Pink
Okay.
Moose. He's
a character,
man.
Pinky's a
and
spitfire.
he's out there. He's out there really giving a voice to the voiceless in terms of the veterans and things, which is appreciative.
Yeah, he really is. So, but yeah, it was another great event, and now each year we try and think of how can we make it better and who are we going to help out this year and stuff.
Right.
So, and it's really nice too because it fights a lot of the stigma that people still have in their head of tattoo shops and that you're all bikers and convicts, and we're like, hey, come to our charity event.
Right. Bring your kids.
Exactly.
Families. Welcome. For sure. Well, I will say, as someone who didn't really grow up in the environment at all, it always kind of I would walk past a tattoo shop as a younger person. I'd be like, "Ooh, what's going on in there?" And it's just it is a stigma, unfortunately, because since I've walked in today, it's been smiley faces and it's bright and it's colorful and my brother-in-law is a tattoo artist, and so I was speaking to Kyle before we started. I've always wanted a tattoo, and I've just never really found there hasn't been the perfect marriage of what I want, where I want it, the money to do it. They've never all converged. So maybe someday. But unfortunately, I won't be able to use. I'll have to go family first. Which
totally
no offense. So.
That's okay. It tends that once you get one, you want more. So
That's exactly. Yeah, I was saying I feel like it's that
third
first
or
splash
yeah.
is probably half the battle. Everybody wants to get the second and third as soon as they get the first. So.
Oh yeah.
And
it's just the hurdle of getting over the first one.
Right, and it's only a matter of time. But I'm starting to run out of time in my mind where I don't want it to be like a midlife crisis thing. I'm 34, so I'm okay, I'm still, I think, young enough so that it's like, oh, you got a tattoo. But I feel like once I get to like a certain age, it'll be like, what, really?
You got at least another decade.
I think so.
Just don't like couple it with like a red
Mustang or whatever.
At the same time. Like, then a few eyebrows will go up.
Yeah, exactly right. I do already have an earring, so like, I wouldn't be like I've had that since I was 18. So it's the natural. People are actually shocked knowing me that I don't have one because I'm seen in certain circles as a fringe guy, which is funny because I was in a band and I wear a leather jacket and I have an earring and I'm hairy, and not to put stereotypes on people that have tattoos, but usually there is like a specific thing. I wear trucker hats. I typically I gave people a false sense of security when the show started because I had like short hair and I was kind of clean cut, but that just happened to be what I needed to look like for the various acting roles I was doing. Mm-hmm. This is more what I normally look like, and everybody's like, oh, he's a slob, this guy, I don't know, and will look like for the foreseeable future working where I'm working, long hair and a beard. So when people find out that I don't have a tattoo, they're like, really? I just imagine you did somewhere and I just never saw it, or you hide it or something like that. I'm like, no, I don't, and I feel like kind of like I'm missing something. I'm missing
honestly,
a part of
you're
it.
Probably it's probably harder at this point to find people that don't have
right.
tattoos.
It's crazy.
Like everybody's got at least like a little one,
especially under like a certain age group. And
sure. I feel like there's a lot of people that like you wouldn't expect have them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they seem like the most like by the book, like clear cut, and then they're like, oh, I got it when I was in the Navy or whatever.
Right.
You have it, and and it's just funny how there is that weird attachment or stereotype that comes with tattoos that I'm like, anymore it doesn't. But I think maybe with the old timers, like it's always like they see tattoo as like a rebellious thing. And I'm like, no, it's more just an expression of who you are as a person. And you want to wear it out on your sleeve, literally. Yeah. I think it shows it shows kind of how far we've come as a society in terms of allowing people to express themselves in an artistic way,
and especially
not have to like hide it or what I mean. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
And as much as I'm not gonna say I love them by any means, but the TV shows that are all tattoo centric, like Ink Master, and then there was the series of blah 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 Inc. LA and Miami, and there's one from Australia, and
right.
But I think that's also like broken down the some of the walls. Made it a little more like commonplace, and people are like, oh, cool. Like, especially that it's in like the Ink Master series, they have like interviews and testimonials with the artists, and it's like, all right, that dude's got like tribal swirls all over his cheeks, but he also seems like a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, and he has like a 2-year-old, and he's like a great dad. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was like, you guys have a little, your little baby, little baby Cotton, who's now, as of the filming of this episode, 2 months old.
Yeah,
two and a half months.
2 months.
Yeah, I saw him at Royersford Community Day, and he was like brand new. Like
brand new. He was 2 weeks at that point.
Yeah, he was like a little baby, like a little cotton ball.
He was in the belly for a lot of planning of Community Day,
for
so
sure.
I was like, come on, dude, we're gonna go see,
And when we met, he was in your belly, I think. Maybe we met before that, but I'm not quite sure. I haven't been here too long. But it's a family environment, folks. I mean, you do have to be 18 with ID, as you see on the sign when you walk in. But that's just for the tattoo.
We don't tattoo under 18.
Yeah.
And that's a house rule. That's not even. A lot of people think that Pennsylvania has the guidelines on this, and they're working on regulations for tattoo shops, but that's a house rule.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so some shops will do like the first shop that I worked at, we would do 16 and 17.
Okay. With like a consent.
With parental consent. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it was like so many hoops you'd have to jump through.
Yeah, it's like you're opening up a can of worms. Yeah. It's like not worth it.
Because you get kid like this one kid we had to talk out of getting this like huge poem of like forever my love, and like constantly using the number 4 in the beginning of forever, and this thing would have been like his whole ribs. Right. And it's like, how about you just get something like small, dude? Like this is a pretty painful spot. Like this is for your girlfriend and you're 16. Like
statistics show. I'm
life
sure.
Might change a little bit.
I'm not putting any negative stuff into the atmosphere with you and your girlfriend, but ask your parents how many girlfriends and boyfriends they had before they got married. Like, and
we've been together since we were 19. We're both 32 now. I'm not getting his name tattooed on me ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not happening.
So once we started working here, or once I started working here, I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, I was so over having to deal with like 16 and 17, and you'd have to get there's some type of ID from them, some type of ID from the parents. If the last names didn't match, you had to
oh my gosh,
have
it's like working
birth
in a bank or something.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, why are we doing? Like, we're not struggling this much.
Yeah, right.
Tattoo 16 and 17.
Yeah, like if you look at the books and you're like, okay, how many of the tattoos do we do are under 18? Okay, that we can survive. Let's just cut that demographic out.
Yeah. And then when he bought the shop, he was like, yes, that is sticking.
That's
definitely not going to be one of the things that get changed.
So tell me, you said when you came to work here, so tell me a little bit about that, because I was under the impression that that you started working here first and then bought the shop.
Correct. Yes.
Said. Yeah, so we're discovering new things right here. See, I don't know everything before the conversation.
We're discovering spring.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was working out in Emmaus for a while. I apprenticed there, and I did, I think, like 3 years of tattooing there.
Okay.
And then, kind of like you were saying about your brother when we were talking before we started recording, that like you want to jive with everyone.
Right.
So, and I did. Like, everybody there was cool, but it just was like, you know, the atmosphere was a little more conducive down here. Plus, it was closer to home. Like, I lived down here. It was, you know, 5-minute drive to work instead of 45-minute drive.
That's amazing.
So, the opportunity to start working here came up. There was a guy working here. Again, attitude didn't match very well, and so he was politely asked to leave. And so it left an open spot, so I started working down here. And I think I worked here for at least like another 2 or 3 years before I bought the place.
Okay.
From the original owner, who still works here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just needed to be captained a little bit more, you know, appropriately.
Right. Yeah.
The guy that used to own the shop just didn't really like dealing with like the back end side of stuff, and I had no problem dealing with that.
He just wanted to tattoo and do what he loved.
Yeah. And it's also he's a single dad.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to tattoo, I want to make money, and then go hang out with my kid.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, and I was like, dude, I am absolutely happy to like. There was a point in time where I had like I was managing the shop.
Okay.
So I had to like, you know, I'd have to call companies to like, hey, we don't want to pay for this service anymore. Like, we're done. We don't use this, you know, advertising thing or whatever it is. And they were like, okay, well, the owner or whoever, like, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. I don't know if I want to use his name.
Yeah.
I had his like social security number memorized so that I could prove like
you were basically running the show.
Yeah, it was straight up like identity stealing.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to do this, I was like, and that's when it got to the point, and I was like, listen, man, maybe you just want to sell me the shop,
right.
And, like,
so it's all,
and then I can just take care of all of this. He's like, all right, yeah, that sounds like the best thing.
We would all get in trouble.
So, and then that was like 4.5, almost 5 years ago. It's always
June.
I started working here on June 1st and bought the shop on June 1st.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Didn't plan it that way. It was like 3 years separate from each other, but that's how I can always easily remember like my business owner anniversary, my anniversary of starting to work here, and then my tattoo-versary, which that's in September. So.
Okay. So when was it that you started working here? What year?
I don't know. 2013, I guess.
Okay.
No.
No,
2011 or 2012. Something like that. It was seven years that I've been working.
Okay, so 7 years, and then you were here for about 2 years. You said before you bought it, or 3 years before you bought it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been
I specifically can remember the whole 2012 thing.
Yeah.
I remember like watching the clock as I was just like, well, nothing's happening. So.
The Mayan thing.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, more tattoos.
It was really like the compliments that we get with like the reputation that we have and things like that. It was a really easy transition because the original owner did do such a great job reputation-wise.
That's awesome.
Like that was something that was extremely beneficial because it's ever since Integrity Tattoo's been here, no matter who has owned it, it's produced great artwork. It's made clients feel comfortable. It's always been really clean and things like that. And that's not always a guarantee when it comes to tattoo shops, especially when they switch owners. So that's been...
It's very bold, too, to pick the name Integrity Tattoo. Like, you really have to live up to that name.
Yeah,
it's like when people say, like, they start something and it's called Best, where there's #1 Chinese restaurant, on Ridge Pike. I'm like, are you though? Yeah. I don't know. I've never eaten there, but maybe. Like it's like okay, but integrity. So that's good to know that the transition was, kind of seamless in that regard, where it wasn't like you were revamping or having to save. The business or something like that, or just keeping it running smoothly and
out of all the changes, this shop's gone through, whether it's, you know, decorative or expanding or owners or anything, something that's always just been the same as the artwork and the integrity and things like that, which is really nice.
And I think you said that he's still tattooing here,
Yep.
which I mean that just speaks volumes in and of itself. Like the fact that it's like that seamless that it's just like, okay, that's great. You know, like there wasn't like this hostile takeover or animosity or all that kind of stuff. So that's really cool. Again, a family environment. Everybody, come on, like everybody gets along. It's good. That's really cool. So tell me a little bit about if you guys have anything on the horizon or plans going forward. Obviously, you expanded into the former Domino's.
Yep.
Was there a smell of pizza for a while that you had to get rid of, or no? Okay.
They gutted it down to the brick walls and everything.
Okay.
So no, it didn't permeate into the brick or anything.
Okay.
I don't know. After that, like just like the carnival party, we'll do that. Stuff to like help the community. But I just want to like tattoo now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like so over having large scale projects.
Right. That makes sense. Well, how long was the process of expanding?
Almost like a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
Like it was, waiting for Domino's to officially leave and get all their stuff out. Which they must have done that like under the cover of dark, because
Really?
They're like walk-in coolers and stuff that like all of a sudden were just gone one day.
Oh, wow.
Like it's stuff that you would notice or hear coming out of the building, and just all of a sudden one day the place was just like empty.
Really?
So then the property manager and the landlords, they had to deal with the township, and I'm sure there were like permits and whatnot involved, and finding the people that were going to do the construction and whatnot. So yeah, it was a while. It took a little bit of time. And then, once it finally happened, it was like, I think it was like right after Christmas 2 years ago.
Okay.
And we left. We had like a break right around Christmas time. We came back. We worked for a couple days. Everybody was off for like New Year's. And then like the first day we were back to work after New Year's, we were moving equipment from one side of the shop all the way out to the back part of the shop now. And we were like set up within like a day or two.
That's crazy.
So,
yeah. So, and then that was when you had the open carnival.
So that's spring.
We did it like in June. I think we did the first carnival party, and that was like cool. We got like 6 months to like get like pictures hung up on the walls and just make it,
So there was some time from the time that you
Right. It wasn't like boom, our stations are set up. Come on in, check it out. We still had to like make it look nice.
Right. That's good now. And it does look nice. I walked through it.
you.
So very well done. And unfortunately, I was hoping to find some leftover Domino's back there, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. No, I'm just kidding. At this point, it would be like an archaeological discovery if there was leftover Domino's back there. So why don't we, is there anything else that you guys wanted to share before we wrap up about what you guys have coming up or about the business philosophy?
Yeah, going on for kind of what the next year condensed looks like for us. Going into the holidays, we always offer a really good gift card special. So it's kind of like X amount of money you put down on a gift card. We give you extra money on top of it.
Oh.
So a lot of clients like it because they'll buy gift certificates for other people. And then they're like, then this one is for me. They'll give this money.
Yeah,
so
we'll
we
get
start
like real
doing
creative with it. Like some people be like, can I like say it's like if you spend, I think it's like if you spend like $100, you get an extra $25 added to it for free. And some people are like, oh cool, just tack it on there. Other people are like, can I get a separate one with that $25?
Yeah.
Like, you knew whatever you want. Like, you can drop, multiple gift
Right.
card
I mean, I
worths.
imagine
Like,
if they have friends that are into tattoos as well, then
Oh, yeah.
they're paying for their own tattoo over time. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them are just like, no, I just want to get like a free $100 worth of tattooing. So here's a bunch of money. Just give me the gift cards. I'll end up just using them throughout the course of the year.
That's
Hey man,
amazing.
as long as they're getting sold, I really don't
as
care
long as the
what
money's coming in, it's good.
Yeah, we start that Black Friday, and that'll go towards Christmas Eve. Kyle actually hangs out at the shop for a couple hours on Christmas Eve for those last minute shoppers.
That's awesome.
So we have
I wrap
that coming
presents
up.
and
We
sell gift cards.
Yeah.
We're like a tattooed Santa Claus.
Yeah. We are sponsoring and decorating one of the storefront windows on Main Street for the tree lighting this year.
Right.
The Royersford Business Association is going to be some of the vacant buildings. They got permission to paint them and decorate them, so Integrity is going to do one of those.
That's really cool.
And then come the first of the year, we'll start talking to probably Mayor Jenna and Borough Council about what the borough needs to set up for the carnival, and possibly we did a tattoo charity event for the Women's Law Project a couple years ago, so we might look into for this next year doing something similar for an organization.
That's cool. That's really cool. And actually, you brought it up, and I do want to talk just briefly about your involvement with the Business Association, because this year you are the secretary, correct?
Vice President.
Vice President, I'm sorry. And this is a new venture for you. This isn't something you've done previously in terms of the Borough Business Association?
Yes and no. So Integrity has been a member of the Royersford Business Association for about 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. But the Royersford Business Association, or the RBA, it's easier to say, it has been, it's grown a lot this year.
Yeah, for sure.
So there were a couple vets, maybe like 4 of us, that have been helping put on these events and things like this.
Right.
And we ran for office because we're like, we got more people, but we can't expect them to kind of know what we've done in the past if we don't help kind of groom people to, the organization. So myself and Anna Marie Chestnut and Amy Demchick were kind of the 3 vets. So we all ran, and we have some great new people on the board with us too. But yeah, it's definitely a growing process, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. Just in the meetings that I've been to, and the work of Community Day and the Halloween parade and the tree lighting that's coming up and all those things, we really appreciate those efforts as well, because it's
Thank you.
It's a lot of work. And the only reward is what you get to witness happen and the community coming together,
for sure,
which is a reward in of itself. But
it's fun,
when
the
you
hours
get to see
spent,
those
things happen.
It's very appreciated from a volunteer perspective. Obviously,
and I lucked out because when we wanted to join something, Kyle's like, well, you'll have to be like the liaison because I'm tattooing. I can't.
Right.
I'm like, I'm totally fine with that. Like, I love that kind of stuff, so we're good.
Yeah, that's good. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I very briefly want to mention, because you had said like you were in Spring City and what were O&J. So that's one of the things about Discover SPRINGFORD that people always realize, is that one of the reasons why I don't put the hyphen in is because I don't see the 2 places as separate. I like to see the communities together, and that goes for all of Spring City. So in the future, we may see a business that's in Spring City but isn't in the school district of Springford. I'm just prefacing that because people may say, wait, that's not in the Springford School District, but it's in Spring City. So
no, and I totally agree with you on that, because coming from O&J School District is so large, and it's
huge.
So much old farm country and things like that we don't have a main street. We don't have a small town. So a lot of the people in East Coventry, East Vincent, Spring City, the parts that, aren't technically Springford, we come into this town to do a lot of things.
And their history is part of the Springford area history with
for
Penhurst and all that kind of stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to say that, but so if anybody ever has a question about that, feel free to send us an email or a comment, because I do find the more we can work together as a greater community, I think the better. Instead of having like this, like, whoa, I'm in this side of the bridge or that side. Who cares? Like, well, we want everybody to grow because we all benefit from that.
Absolutely.
If one borough is not doing as well as the other borough, then
nobody's
that doesn't
really
help
doing
anybody.
that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So very important to pinpoint those types of things. So anyway, sorry, that's my little soapbox for Discover SPRINGFORD. But why don't you let people know how they can get in touch with you guys, either on social media, what your hours are, and where they can find you.
Social media would be easiest, I guess, would be the shop Facebook page and the shop Instagram. The Facebook page would be facebook.com/Integrity Tattoo. The Instagram is @IntegrityTattooRofo. And that'll be the easiest because that can link you to all of the emails, all of the artists, different like personal pages and stuff like that. And then the phone number here is 610-792-4433. Always easiest if you can give a call or just pop in, and we're always here to help out, answer questions, get people scheduled with appointments and consultations.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
look forward to seeing you guys continue success, seeing who the beneficiary of the carnival party is going to be this year. I'm very excited of Pins and Needles. Hopefully I'll be able to participate again, depending on my schedule. It's changed significantly in the last few weeks, so my flexibility isn't what it once was, but I do appreciate you guys making the time today. So thank you, Ashley, very much. Kyle, very much.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Discover Springford. If you'd like to hear our full unedited conversation, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Discover Springford Podcast. You can find it on any podcast app. If you'd like to find out more about Integrity Tattoo, you can click out using the links below the video. Finally, if you'd like to support the work that we're doing through Discover Springford, I encourage you to check out the links below the video and become a supporter online. You can do it in a number of ways, including making a one-time PayPal contribution. You can also become a monthly supporter on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or you can buy our merchandise in our online store. Thanks a lot for watching this episode. I encourage you to come back next week, and until then, get out there on your own journey to discover what makes the Springford area a great place to live, work, eat, and explore.